Welcome to the Las Vegasville podcast, brought to you by Jump Studios, where we cover topics related to everything happening around Sin City, including the social media scene, food, and a whole lot more, with some of the best, most popular accounts around the city, and talk about their success in Vegas and beyond. I'm your host, Philip Zhang, aka Las Vegas Phil. Check me out on IG or TikTok, and feel free to text or leave me a voicemail at 702-551-4445. On with the show. Welcome to this week's show. I know we have a lot of younger listeners, and many of them are looking for tips on how to be a better influencer or how to run their business social media better. But I want to delve more into having overall life experiences, which is so important. Going beyond the phone or computer screen and doing things and living life is crucial to everything you do, and no one has lived life to the fullest and been in the spotlight longer than our guest, Chef Martin Yan. If Yan can't cook, so can you, has always been the motto of Martin Yan. I grew up watching him on PBS in the weekends with my parents. And the guy's a living legend. He's done so much as an ambassador for Chinese and Asian culture overall in the U.S. and beyond. Before the internet, public television was a huge vehicle for commercial-free, untainted, unadulterated information. He really brought the culinary world of Asia to the U.S. His television presence started in a show in 1978, led to Yan Can't Cook, which is still syndicated around the world, making it one of the longest-running American cooking programs with over 3,600 episodes. This is an amazing feat because this would be unfathomable to touch in today's come-and-go era of what's hot and what's not. Chef Yan has remained an active international food ambassador throughout his career. He roams the world representing different commercial and social concerns to entertain and educate the public. Really, he's done so much for Asian Americans and is really a national treasure. He just recently opened his new restaurant at the Horseshoe, which is the former Bally's property, called MY Asia, now open daily. This is a social media show, so I'm going to roll out the numbers, even though it doesn't really matter. 164K on Facebook, 24K on IG, television personality, cookbook author, restaurateur, YouTube host. It's my honor to have Chef Martin Yan on the show.
My pleasure. Well, Yan can, Phil can. Right. My slogan is always, I always believe, if you all want to reach the public, the general public, not everybody is expert. You want to make sure you do something, you get them excited about food, about life, and we've got to eat every day. Might as well cook at home. And also, food brings everybody together. Food breaks down all the barrier, particularly in such turbulent time, politically, economically, socially. So I think food is a very important link, the connector. So I call myself super connector. I connect people through food, like you.
Totally. I can totally see that. I recently checked out MY Asia a couple days ago. I was fortunate enough for you to give a pretty in-depth tour. The aim, the ambition, what finally brought you to Las Vegas to open the restaurant?
Well, for a number of years that people have asked me to come to Las Vegas. And in the meantime, in the last few years before pandemic, just like Anthony Bourdain, Park Chan-wook, I actually literally, like you, I roam around the world. I travel all over the world. And I probably travel about 250 to 275 days a year.
Incredible. Sign me up for that.
So I basically travel most corner of Southeast Asia, every single city. And then not just going to the major city. Like, give you an example, recently I did Martin Yan's Korea Food Life. I traveled from the border of North and South Korea, and was all this bullet cannon ridden locomotive.
Yeah,
unbelievable. And then went down all the way to Jeju Island and dive all those elderly Korean women that dive for a living.
Right.
They dive for the pearl, they dive for abalone and a sea urchin and all kinds of stuff. It's an amazing experience for me. So I've been traveling. That's the reason why, even though I was offered to come, and I decided, unless I have more time in the U.S., then I'll do it. Now, with the pandemic, I can't go anywhere. I got stuck. So I figured, this might be a good time. And also, I always love Las Vegas. Every 4 or 5 months, I come here, in the entertainment capital of the world. You know, my wife, Sue, she loved the game. She loved the show. She loved the concert. So we come here quite often, actually.
Fantastic. So with the Horseshoe rebranding, they reached out to you to bring this concept in. And I love that it kind of encompasses basically all of Asian cuisine, like the name says.
Yeah.
It's MY Asia.
Yeah, because I travel all over Asia, and I work with home cooks as well as master chef, and we actually went to some of the rainforest and the freshwater fish, and they have one called one of the freshwater fish that costs about $1,000 US a fish, this big, wild caught, and we actually went over there with a local native people. They actually fish. And it took about 2 hours to 5 hours, 2 to 5 hours to just get one fish. That's why it's so precious.
Right. And how would you prepare that fish after you catch it? What do you?
This number way mainly for steaming. It's called emperau. You can check emperau. Amazing fish. The wonderful thing is there's only one huge backbone. Very small. Most of the freshwater fish are a lot of small bone. Very, very tricky. And this one, when you steam them, the scale all open up. And then you can eat the scale too.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's crunchy. And then if you left over, and then you can actually and fry it and do salt and pepper. Just like salt and pepper, squid, salt and pepper in Asian restaurant. And then it is so much fat content because they eat a little nuts from the redwood forest, they call the redwood forest, and all the little plant along the waterway, and these little nuts have a lot of oil, and then the fish is probably more omega-3, more oil than Chilean sea bass or salmon. So when you eat it, it's moist, it's juicy, never overcooked. You steam it. And it's unbelievable. It's hard to describe. You got to go there.
Yeah, so that's
yeah.
The fact that they're eating all that makes it so unique. That's
very
really
unique and rare. Just like
Yeah.
a lot of time, the things are expensive because it's rare, like truffle.
Right.
You know, I was in Italy recently. I took a group of my friends to Italy. In fact, a couple of friends actually from Las Vegas, and we went on a called Pasta Chow Mein. The name of the tour is called Pasta Chow Mein, right? Chow is Italian, pasta is that, and then mein, right?
All right,
Chow
love
mein.
it.
Chow mein is also Chinese, right?
Yep.
So I actually bring a whole suitcase of seasoning, including the sausage from Taiwan sauce, a Chinese the pork sausage and duck liver sausage and hoisin sauce, chili sauce, and the fermented bean curd, all kind of stuff, exotic stuff. To Italy, and then every morning I went to the local farmers market with the local chef, right? Because every day we have a different chef, and we go shopping, and we come back, and all 24 of us in a nice dining room, and the Italian chef and I use the same ingredient, and he cook one dish, I cook one dish. Everybody can see, and then can taste. So we call it the pasta chow mein. A lot of fun.
How would fans get to do that with you? How did that come about?
Oh, actually, the travel agents asked me if I want to do it, and it's a villa tour.
Yeah.
We all live in a 1,100 old villa, and each is only about 12 rooms, so it's 24 people, 12 rooms, and each room had kitchen, have a living room. It's amazing. Everything we touch is history. 1,000 years, 800 years. It's amazing to me. And then we're having a good time, and we're living. The villa is actually sitting right in the middle of an olive orchard and a vineyard. It's beautiful. The sunrise, and the breeze, and the fog rolls in. It's very romantic.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
What an experience. And I love that you brought all those ingredients that normally wouldn't go with.
Yeah, and I want to introduce them, and I said, see, what defines a cuisine is not the ingredient itself; it's the flavor profile, it's the taste in the sauce. The secret is in the sauce. So I can use spaghetti, I can do meatball, but I can do the lion's head meatball. Right, yeah. I can do the meatball, and the Italian chef make the meatball. I just make my meatball a little bit bigger, so it looks like a lion's head, right? And then I will use hoisin sauce. I use the Chinese seasoning. I put in a tiny bit of Chinese sausage and shiitake mushroom and all kind of stuff into it. So they have a totally different texture. So they can taste it and say, wow, You know, Italian meatball is great, and then the lion's head is just as good. It's just different. And then we all serve the spaghetti or angel hair pasta. Except mine, I have a little bit oyster sauce, a little fish sauce,
Wow.
and a little bit of and I use the black vinegar rather than the balsamic vinegar.
Sounds great. My mouth is watering right now. I only had a yogurt and a coffee today. So, yeah, I'm starving now. Speaking of fusion, I mean, your restaurant kind of blends some unique things together, really innovative and creative, like the honey walnut shrimp with the wasabi sauce,
Yep.
The crispy mapo tofu, which you use agarashi tofu, which is
Yep.
really cool. What was the process like for you and your team to build this menu?
Well, I think, you know, food is just like history, like fashion. It's always evolving. And chef, we're basically magicians. We're artists. You know, you have the paint, which is the seasoning. And then you have the brush, which got a wok and the knife and everything. So basically, you can create anything you want. In old days, 60 years ago, 70 years ago, about 50 years ago when I first came over here, you'll hardly find any Asian seasoning in the supermarket. Now, you go to Los Angeles, you go to Chinatown here. The entire aisle, not just in Chinatown, Ranch 99, but all the supermarket, entire aisle with Asian seasoning. This is unheard of. So nowadays, all of us can find all kind of seasoning, which is not available before. So basically, what we try to do is we get the best, my favorite, when I travel all over. So basically, our cuisine is not really too fusion. It's just that we get the best ingredient and put together, and we present a traditional flavor profile with a little personal touch. So to make it interesting, so the dish is just a little touch. So you don't have to really change because Japanese food is Japanese food. You go to Japan years ago, there's no California roll.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
No spicy roll, and no the Dungeness, no Alaskan king crab roll, and no a soft shell crab. Now you go to Noble, you go to a lot of restaurants, you got all kind of seasoning. They even use Chinese seasoning. They use Chinese, Vietnamese chili sauce. You go to any restaurant nowadays, they serve you chili sauce. You use chili sauce, and people. You go to a Mexican restaurant, they do the fajita. They use soy sauce to marinate the beef.
Yeah.
So everybody's using. As a chef, we are basically artists. You can pick up any paint, pick up any ingredient, just create. It's personal. Food is personal. So.
Absolutely. And the new space looks great. You took us on a tour of the kitchen.
Yeah.
Literally the biggest kitchen I've ever seen in my life.
So this way you can actually do kung fu practice there.
Right. Yeah, you played the drums. You did a little dragon dance for us. That was really cool too. And then you plan on being there quite a bit, like more than the average celebrity chef, you'd say.
Well, you know, I know that most, I talk to a lot of people. I know a lot of people, like I know Roy. Roy has a lot of restaurants. When you have too many, you have a multitude of restaurants, it's almost impossible to be everywhere, right? But now we only have a couple of restaurants, one in the Bay Area, one here. So I live in the Bay Area. When I come down, only 1 hour. So I can come down here in the afternoon and host an event and say hello to everybody, all my buddies and all my friends. And then I fly back at 10 o'clock in the evening. So it's just so convenient. So I love to spend time here. And besides, I have a lot of good friends like you. You know, we all love to eat.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go out and eat every night.
Very cool. That sounds awesome. You did host back-to-back days with local foodie influencers. How much have you personally interacted with people in social media?
Not much. The reason is because as I said, I travel so much.
Yeah.
And I do a lot of things in my own kitchen. And I do a lot of charity organization, nonprofit organization. And I work with the ARP, which is the large, you probably know that is the largest, because the aging population, that's the largest nonprofit organization. And everybody's growing older, and I try to encourage them to cook at home. I try to encourage them, even if you go out to eat, pick the right thing, not all the fried foods, and also keep an active lifestyle. And also I do a lot of things for the like unlock, self-help for the elderly, to tell people they can actually cook at home. Simple food, simple ingredient, cook with the season. and then they cook healthy food. So when I do a lot of virtual event actually in my kitchen. When you come up to San Francisco, we do a podcast together and cook together in my kitchen. Okay,
That would be slightly intimidating. I am a terrible cook, but I would definitely be down to go to your house and try some food. I also want to add, I mean, the amount of energy and passion that you have is unrivaled. I mean, the fact that, I've been watching you since the 80s, and you lead a pretty healthy lifestyle. I don't think you've gained any weight.
I have not gained 1 pound in 36 years. And my blood pressure is just like 25 years old. Because I eat well. I went to school at UC Davis. I have a master's degree in food science and nutrition. So I pay a lot of attention. And I try to eat all the fresh ingredients. Even though I'm a food technologist, I try to encourage people to eat fresh, farm to fork, farm to table, farm to chopstick. I call it farm to chopstick.
I love it. I love it.
So I think the key is, to have a healthy lifestyle. You got to live healthy. Live healthy means eat healthy, exercise. I do exercise every day. And I feel really good. Mentally and physically, I feel a lot better during the pandemic because I work in my garden. I have a little koi pond. And when I want to slow down, I want to calm down, I look at the fish just swimming so freely. It just really calmed me down.
So cool. In the 1980s and 90s, you achieved what many non-white cooks still struggle with today, to get Americans to view the cooking of other countries as something they could replicate at home. Was this always the plan for you when you did the show?
When I start the show, the general manager and the director asked me, Chef Yan, what do you want to call what is the theme of your show? And how do you want to call the name of your show? What is the title? I said, I figure out if I want to teach, I want to inspire home cook to do it. Like Julia, that's why Julia Child is so successful, because he's cooking things that people can feel comfortable cooking at home. So I said, if all the dishes I choose, most of the time, I'm not going to do something that takes 4 days, or I'm not going to teach you how to make a Peking duck at home, right? But I will show you how to do something simple, poach, steam, braise, stir fry, that you can cook in a few minutes or half an hour. You can have a complete meal. You plug in your rice cooker. When the rice is done, the meal is ready. So I pick dishes, doesn't take too long to cook. And I figure out, I told myself, if I can cook it, they can cook at home. So it's like, Yan can cook, so can you. That's my slogan. So it become an international slogan. Everywhere I go, people will say, Yan can cook, so can you.
Absolutely,
so
I can
funny.
imagine.
And also I think like the NY China, not only would, like I mentioned it the other day with all of your friends, not only I want to inspire people to cook at home or come here and eat a variety of things. Some of the things that you may want to come out to eat occasionally, because some of the things is just pain in the neck to do, like a roast duck or something like that, or it takes 12 hours to do it properly, right? And we want to entertain them. We want to entertain them with food. We want to entertain them with the energy, the atmosphere, the feel of the restaurant. That's why our restaurant is a lot of fun, right? And I'm going to do a little drum and get the heartbeat coming, pumping, and then so this is the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas. People come here, they want to eat, they want to be entertained. That's why you see people. Nobu is a wonderful person. Aramoto, David Chang, and Gordon Ramsay. They all love people. We have to face people every day.
True.
So we love people. So we call it Yantertainment. And energy, I want to get the energy. Just like the same that when I do television show, energy. I'm bone a chicken in 18 seconds. So that's why I want to bring the spirit, particularly today. There's so much tragedy every day. Every day we watch the news, it's tragedy. I want to inspire people, live a good life, and be nice to people, be respectful to people. From food, we want to respect each other.
100%. How tough was it for you back then to even attempt to do what you did in that time and era? Like back then, when your show started, only Asians had soy sauce in their fridge. Only Asians had kimchi in their fridge. Now it's totally different. But Was there? I felt like you broke down so many barriers, and Chinese culture was not as well received back then.
Yeah.
I mean, how did you? I don't know. Come up to the surface and blow up like you did?
Well, when I first started, I remember even my roommate, my friend said, Martin, don't try too hard. You never make it. Nobody going to watch you. First, you're Asian, right? And then those days, no Asians doing what I do. Right. And then also, not too many people really understand Chinese food or Asian food anyway.
True.
But I think, hey, this is what I love. So I just do it. And then the funny thing is, when I finished all the shows, in 3 months, they called me up frantically, this producer in Canada, say, wow, Chef Yan, do you have a cookbook? And I said, I don't have a cookbook. Because people calling our station, ask for your recipe. And I said, the cookbook and the recipe is here. When I cook with instinct, right? Yeah. So I finally borrow $3,000 for a few friends. And I come up with enough money, I print out 3,000 cookbooks. Sold out in 2 months.
Amazing.
And then Double Day want to publish my book. And okay, you publish my book, and we'll print the first printing 100,000 copies.
Wow.
That's 40 years ago.
Incredible.
So my journey is very interesting. So that's why when I when I decided to team up with my good friend Paul and Tony and Adam and Bobby, and I said, hey, you know, if I want to do something, I want to do something about my experience, my culinary journey through Asia. So that's why I call My Asia, Martin Yan's Asia. So we try to bring in some of the food, the culture, the heritage. That's why you look at on the display. A lot of those are the collection that I have. Like the drum, I use it for almost 15, 20 years. And the lion's head, I use it for, because I used to take that to go to elementary school for the children, and I do it for fun. So that's the reason why I have it. And now I bring it I bring all this energy into MY Asia.
Yeah, you totally have, and I can't wait to see it when the place is packed. Yeah, and it is certainly your Asia. I mean, all your experiences, all the cool things that you've collected over the years are all hung up on the wall. It's really cool. So you lived an amazing life with incredible experiences. I really just want to hear some stories about certain people, certain things. It's honestly better if I talk less. I'm going to drop some names, and I'd love if you could maybe talk about your experiences with these names and places. Gordon Ramsay.
Well, I was a special guest on Hell's Kitchen. And the funny thing is that day is supposed to be dumpling and pasta. And normally, Gordon will have about 3 or 4 judges. And then that particular day, I was the only one. And I sit in the green room, and people always is curious, is Gordon Ramsay really a nice guy? And I said, you know, I sit in the green room, and he came in and very friendly, and it's very nice. And I was joking with people. The reason why he's so nice, and I said, Gordon, how are you doing? No, I'm just joking, right? But actually, he's a really nurturing, charming guy, because I know that behind the scene, not behind the camera, he actually tells the people, no, trust yourself, believe in yourself, and don't worry. But on camera, he's like a certain personality, and I guess that's just his signature anyway. And I hope I can raise the voice like him. But the thing is, you know, he's immensely successful, and he's inspiring a lot of young people in the business. So I think all of us have a different opportunity to influence people, to nurture people. You see all the things that he does, children's cooking. So I think deep down, he really, really wants to bring food to the general public, encourage people of all ages, all ethnic background, to get into the kitchen and have fun. And that's what I like to do at the same time. So I admire his approach. And I like his approach, even though I'm not as imposing as him. But I think each one of us have different personality, and I congratulate him on all his success. And because he inspire and get everybody excited. He got millions and billions of people excited, just like the Yan Can Cook show. Yeah. Was one of the very few American-produced cooking show broadcast all over Asia, all over the world. And at one point, we were in about 56 to 60 countries, reaching 2.5 billion people, potential audience, because we're in India, we're in China, we're all over Asia, we're in Ireland, we're Middle East, we're in Australia, New Zealand, Japan, all over. So I have the opportunity to work with a lot of amazing home cooks. You know, you travel all over. A lot of times you go to particularly Asia, you go to Singapore, you go to Malaysia, you go to Thailand, and you go to Philippines. There's a lot of night market. And the people, they've been cooking the same thing for 60 years, like chao gui diao, 60 years. So they became the expert of that particular dish. So you can have a lot to learn from them. So everywhere we go, we learn.
Amazing. Anthony Bourdain.
Anthony Bourdain is a true professional and passionate. He's passionate about his food, and I remember we in several occasions, because before he did the Parks Unknown, he used to be he had he wrote a book, right? The confidential, the kitchen confidential. It's very highly popular, very popular. And then a lot of time we do a lot of food and wine events. So we bump into each other all the time, and then we share the same stage back to back, so we get a chance to sit down, have a coffee, and chit chat. I found he's very knowledgeable. He's very passionate. Talking about food, he's really into it. And he's also sometimes very opinionated, because when he thinks it's good, he will say it. And I respect that. And so we have a wonderful experience. Even though I never really get a chance to know him really well, in a sense, to work with him, but we, in quite a few occasions, in the Food and Wine event in Lake Tahoe and in Reno, we get a chance to work together with a lot of the Food Network chefs too. So we're very fortunate that we can work with so many wonderful people.
Yeah, absolutely. On TV, during when I was growing up watching you, I also watched Julia Child as well. What was your experience with her?
Well, you know that Julia's show, you look back, you ask your parent, you're too young, Phil, you're too young, because our show had been around for 44 years, since 1978. When we started, before I started, on PBS, there's only PBS of cooking shows, only 2 cooking shows.
Right.
Graham Care's Galloping Gourmet, you remember?
Uh-huh.
And then Julia Child, French chef. Then when I went to college, and when I was having dinner with my roommate, we cooked together. We can't afford to live in a dorm. And then we cook, and I watch Graham Care and Julia Child back to back on PBS. And I joked with my roommate, maybe one day, I hope I will be on television. And my roommate was laughing at me. Think I was joking. I was joking, actually, right? And then Yankin Cook Show was the 3rd cooking show on air. And throughout the year, because we're produced on PBS, and the producer and director, actually, also my producer director
same
too.
ones. Oh,
right. So particularly in the last 15, 20 years of her life. So we have a lot of chance, and PBS have a lot of fundraising. So we travel all over. Every time we meet, whether in Boston, Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, or Dallas, we always get together because she loved Chinese food. She loved dim sum. So I always take her to Chinatown in Chicago or Los Angeles or New York or Boston to have dim sum, because she lived in Cambridge.
Yep.
Massachusetts. Later on, to move to towards the last few years, she moved to Santa Barbara. She donated all her cookbook to UC Santa Barbara. I donate all my cookbook, 4,000 cookbook, to UC Davis, and we're developing an archive called Martin Yan's Asian Culinary Archive. So in the future generation of culinarian or chef or scholar, if they want to study Asian cuisine, Chinese or Asian cuisine, they can go to the archive. Everything is digitized. We donate a lot of books, some video, and almost 1 million slides. We travel, and Stephanie actually is the one that took most of the photographs. So we want to share with people. You know, food is about sharing. When you cook, you eat yourself is no fun. You know, that's why Asian dining table, it's always round table, never long table, always round table. So you can talk to everybody You can share with everybody, and with the lazy Susan, right? Just like MY Asia, we have a lazy Susan, a nice round table, so everybody can chit chat and we talk to each other. So in fact, I will have a photo wall called the Wall of Fame, and I will put all this photo. We're putting in a frame, and then right next to the bottom is a big black wall, right? I'm going to put all these the people that I have worked with on the wall, so people can say, "Wow, I took picture with Julia Child in the span of 35 years, when she was younger, and when she's getting a little bit more mature, and then towards end, about almost 90, 91 years old, she wrote the introduction of one of my cookbook, Martin Yan's Chinatown Around the World." To introduce, and the introduction of that book is called "In Appreciation of Chinese Food" and Chef Martin Yan.
That's amazing.
So I have the great opportunity to work, and she's so genuine, she's so sweet, she's so charming. Just like Gordon Ramsay, a lot of other great chefs like Bobby Frey and my good friend Amro. You got to be nurturing, because you have to work with the chef. You have to train your chef. So you got to be nurturing. You got to be inspiring to the people to work for you. And she is always very sweet. Hey, Martin, how you doing? It's always very sweet. And I always have great conversation with her in front of hagao, siu mai, and char siu bao, and all the wonderful things. So it's a very great memory. In fact, she wrote the introduction when the book was here. I actually drove to her condo in Santa Barbara and deliver the book to her personally.
So cool. So cool. I couldn't imagine being a dim sum owner and you and Julia Child walk into the restaurant.
Yeah, amazing.
I start freaking. So you recently won the James Beard Lifetime Award last year. What has James Beard meant to you?
Well, when James Beard, in the outset, they have the James Beard Foundation dinner every year in New York, in James Beard's house. And I was one of the very first chefs invited to do dinner. Now they have dinner practically 2 or 3 times a week. All the chefs from around the world want to cook. They can only take about 60 to 80 people, 2 floor. And with somebody donate a kitchen, beautiful kitchen on the ground floor that you can actually watch the chef going for it and raise money. So James Beard is, all the people that passionate about food, love food, a lot of professional chefs, a lot of cookbook author, a lot of social media people, television show hosts. They're all members of the James Beard Foundation. They just want to get together, have an organization that they can share all the experience and all the passion with everybody else, not only among the professional, but in the public. That's why the James Beard dinner is actually open to the public, and they raise money, and then they set up scholarship. So I was so honored, because every year they give out a lot of awards to the best television show, best cookbook, best restaurant design, best hotel, best the top chef. And there's only one lifetime achievement award. And I was so honored. And when I accept that particular honor, my acceptance speech towards the end, I don't know whether you watch it. I said, I accept this on behalf of millions of culinary professionals, chefs. They work so hard, day in and day out. In Asia, a lot of them, they don't even have half a day off a week. They work 10, 12 hours a day. And I accept that for them, for all these hardworking people.
Yeah, I did see on YouTube. That was great.
Yeah.
Speech, great feature. And yeah, it's another thing as well. All of us talk to owners and chefs quite often, and you have to love it.
Oh, you gotta love it.
There's no other way to do it than with passion.
Well, everybody know we're all walks of life, and chef professional are probably the most challenging, most difficult profession. Long hours. You stand up for basically the whole day. And then not only that, when people having vacation, enjoying life, you work the hardest.
Christmas Day.
And you're away from your family most of the time. That's why in the old days, most of the small operators, and they bring the children. And the children do homework in the restaurant, and then this way they can take care of them, right? So it's a tough business. But anybody into this, they have to be truly, they love what they do. They have to be passionate about what they do in order to really sustain the energy. You know, when I work, I still enjoy that because I still cook at home every day, and I do a lot of things. I use my knife every day, and as I mentioned, the reason why I was able to break down, a lot of people watch the YouTube when I break down a chicken and things like that. The reason is first, you got to use the right tool. The right tool for the right job, and it's very sharp. You remember I showed it to you. Now this is a classic example. Right. This is the knife, right? That is the knife for just go look at this. Look at this. Okay, look at this. Look at this. Huh? Amazing. So this way, when you have a sharp knife, you can do all kinds of things because you in Asian cooking, Japanese cooking, sushi, everything, you basically cut up everything. Bite-sized pieces, never eat too much. And also eat a well-balanced diet. You not only have protein, you have a lot of vegetable, fresh, seasonal vegetable. So, you everybody come in my Asia, I'm quite sure we're going to feed them with the freshest ingredient, seasonal ingredient. And I just welcome you and your friend, your family, and everybody in the studio. We have about 45 people in the studio here. It's amazing. This is an unbelievable studio here.
Thank you. You did a great job setting it up. I just sit here. You brought over the knife as a gift. Can you talk to me a little bit more about this knife? This is your knife. Well,
actually, now you can tell it is my knife. Look at that.
Yep.
Right here. So the reason why most celebrity chefs have a lot of products in the product line, and I only have this. The reason is because I can never find a knife that I like, and it's sharp enough I can maintain it. When you design a knife, first of all, you have to worry about using the best ingredient, best material. This is the best quality chrome molybdenum, and it's high carbon stainless steel with the right amount of alloy, and it's triple rivet, full tang. Most of the Chinese chef knife is a wood handle, not full tang. They're right here. Sure. So sooner or later, they got loose, and then they crack. And when it's cracked, it's dangerous because the food get inside, and it got mold, and it got and contaminated, right? So this is full tang. And then not only that, most Chinese chef knives do not have this curve. And I designed this curve because when you hold onto the knife, you hold onto the knife like this. You see? Your fingers here. So when you cut, you go downward, forward. Your hand, your fingers pushing towards here. You're pushing here. If this is sharp and no curve, all the very expensive German knife, a French chef knife, they all have curve. And also the full tang. So this way is well balanced. Also, the next thing is balance. Has to be very well balanced. Because you hold the knife like this, so the balance should be here. So you look at this balance right here. Right? So it's very important to have the right balance, and also you're doing a lot of cutting and chopping, and this also has to be the right curve. Most of the Chinese chef knife is about like this. This, you see this? See this? You can rock. And yet at the same time, when you cut, you can rock. And because of that, and also it's got to be really sharp. Now look at it. When the knife is sharp, you can go so slow. Look at it. See? So you got to have a sharp knife. A sharp knife is a safe knife. And you ask any chef. Now you work with a lot of chefs. You work in the kitchen. I'm quite sure you know that the sharp knife is very important. So since I know that you cook for your family, and this is my gift for you.
Thank you. And where can they get this? At yancancook.com?
They can cook yancancook.com.
Okay.
yancancook.com, and you can watch a lot of our video, and I'm quite sure, and everybody watch you too. And we do a lot of cooking, virtual cooking. You can check YouTube, Facebook. You can check all my old shows on KQED, the KQED with PBS in San Francisco, Yankin Cook or KQED, and also on YouTube, a lot of shows. And I love to invite you and some of your friends, your family, come over to my kitchen. We'll cook together.
That'll be amazing.
Okay? I'm going to challenge Phil. I'm going to PK, and I'm going to have 2 chicken. and we'll 3, 2, 1. I'll see how many seconds Phil can break down a chicken.
I think it'd be quicker for me to DoorDash a chicken than cut it. So, Chinese restaurants, fine dining. It's different in Vegas and a lot of major cities now, but those kinds of cuisines are not looked upon as things that can be fine dining or higher end or pricier things. Mexican food is the same, but it's slowly changing. How do you feel about that now?
Well, NY China's concept is very unique. It's one of a kind. First of all, we want to serve traditional Greek food from my favorite travel, my favorite dishes, okay? Because you cannot have, we're not running a Vietnamese restaurant or Thai restaurant, right? But we pick a few of my favorite dishes, and we also we can change according to the season, okay? And the most important thing is, you can check all of this information, Chef Martin Yan on YouTube as well as on Instagram and also Facebook. And the one is on YouTube,
Yan Can Cook.
Yan Can Cook.
Yeah.
yancancook.com/c/Yan Can Cook. So you can check a lot of that stuff. So the most important thing is, I think, we have a beautiful small VIP room. We want to entertain some of the really, really gourmet Asian gourmets. In our dining room, we're going to have abalone, we're going to have sea urchin, we have sea cucumber for those. But we also have some of the wonderful dishes for the general public, because we want to present NY Asia as a casual dining. This is casual dining. This is fine dining. We want to be around here to give people a sense. Hey, food is about history, about heritage, about religion. Why people in certain areas don't eat beef, why people don't eat pork, why people are vegetarian. So on our menu, we have all kinds of stuff. So we have a story to tell. We want people to come here to experience, to have a wonderful experience, to be entertained with our food as well as our energy. Our the heartbeat of the thing is in the noodle bar. We make the hand roll fresh, non-stop. And most of the time, you go to a lot of restaurants, they make a hand roll and they put it in the fridge for a couple of hours, and it dries up. And here, we make it, and the rice paper, Vietnamese rice paper, just like sushi. Why people go to Nobu? Why people go to a sushi bar? Because you make it right here. The rice is nice and soft and moist. When you put it in the fridge, the rice retrogradated and the firm and it's hot. It doesn't have the same feel of sitting in a sushi bar to have sushi and sashimi, right? So I think it's important thing is, and also our kitchen is our kitchen and the dining room is right next to each other. So everything is cooked to order, and just like you go to the night market in Asia, and you sit right in the Hakka store, Hakka kiosk. The wok is here. You sit right over here, right? So everything is fresh, and the aroma, you smell the wok, the breath of the wok hay, right? So it's so important, and then we try to bring the freshest and the best and a healthy, delicious meal and healthy, delicious dishes to the general public. Not only the resident from Las Vegas, but people come all over the world. Right, people come all over the country, all over the world, as well as nationally. So I want them to entertain. I want to entertain them. I want them to really have a wonderful experience. And I would love to invite some of the people come to NY Asia to learn how to make hand pool noodle. I'll show you how to do the jump.
Very cool. And there's a lot of unique things to the restaurant. It's the biggest noodle bar in town.
Well, we can sit 22 people.
Yeah. And then you also have a camera.
Yeah. So when I do that, just like what you're doing here, when I do that, people from around the country, around the world can see what I'm doing.
I love it. Another thing we have in common, we both married Japanese women.
Yeah.
How did you two meet originally, way back when?
We went to it's just a funny story. Because I don't have any money, right? So I have to teach cooking class. I have to teach cooking class to make money. Because being a foreign student, we pay a lot more money, 2.5 times to 3 times as much. So I teach cooking class at the extension as well as the local recreation and park department and all the cooking schools all over.
Wow.
And all her roommates took my cooking class. Because I teach a cooking class for the extension, but I also took a cooking class for the student common because they cannot afford to pay $60. Then we also teach a shorter class for about $25. So people can come and take the class and have a meal. And she's the only one in her apartment never take my cooking class. And then I one time her roommate invite me to the apartment and cook for me. And I was so curious. I said, Susan, how come you never took my cooking class? And she didn't really give me an answer. So I thought, maybe I have to convince her. So I start dating her.
Love it.
And then now I'm still cooking for her. She bakes. She doesn't cook as much, but I'm still cooking for her. When I'm home, I'm still cooking for her every night. Oh. And I guess that's another reason why she married me, is because I cook for her.
If you two went out for a date night, where would you go eat?
Well, being a cooking teacher and a chef, I like to experience different things. When I'm in Japan, I go to the fish market, and I stand up and have a bowl of ramen, and I will stand up and have sushi. The
Tsukiji market. Yeah.
And we actually film and she get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go to the auction for the huge 400-pound tuna, right? Bluefin tuna.
Quite a sight.
So it's very exciting. And I like to eat local. When I go to Thailand, I eat only Thai food. Why should I go to Thailand to have hamburger? Why should I go to Thailand to have Chinese food, right? So I would go to Thailand to have red curry, blue curry, papaya salad, and tom yam goong, right? When I go to Vietnam, I want to eat Vietnamese, the roll and the rice, all the wonderful dishes made from rice. When I go to Malaysia, I want to have all the Malaysian food. Philippines, I want to have adobo, right? So Korean, I want to learn how to make kimchi. A lot of people don't realize that kimchi, they think it's only cabbage. There's a lot of they can pickle anything, seafood, octopus, and then in Korea, I actually eat live octopus.
Nice.
You put it in, and you got to chew, and then you got to swallow. Otherwise you get stuck here.
Yeah, there's one place in Vegas that does that here, sea salt, and yeah, same thing happened.
Yeah, you have to be careful.
You have to
because
be careful.
Even you cut it up, they still suck and get stuck here. So it can be dangerous, particularly for kids.
Totally. What is there one country that you have a favorite place that you've been to? I mean, I know you've been to so many.
Well, I've been in a lot of places. Being a good chef, I always believe that you have to be curious. You have to be adventurous. You have to be curious. And you cannot say, oh, this is my favorite. That is my favorite. Because I want to share with people my traveling experience. So every single cuisine, every single place that I visit, there are things that I can share with people. So no matter where I go, I always try to dig up the thing that is interesting, inspiring, so I can share with the people. Like, as I said, you go to Japan, you go to the market, the fish market. You got 400 pounds of fish. And you also see a chef get up at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, and they bring their tools and they a little drill and get a little piece of sample to taste it before they buy it. And that is passion, right? And then I want to learn from. You go to the seafood harbor in Sydney, and you got all the king crab this big. You got the fish this big, and the lobster and the abalone this big. And they have the green abalone, the green leaf abalone, the green, and also they have the purple, the black one. So they taste a little bit different, and the texture is a little bit different. So for me, because they eat different seaweed, different things. So for me, it's always a sense of adventure, and always local. Not only eat in fine dining restaurant, but on the street. Go to a home cooks. And this is how I learn, and also story to tell to people. So I'm very, very adventurous.
Yeah, I totally see that. Let's go talk about your cookbook for a little bit.
This is I have authored about 33 cookbooks. The Taste of China, MY Asia, MY China, and I have a book that when you come to MY China, you know that I have a book MY Asia, where I actually feature the cuisine from different part of Asia, and I'm writing a book called The Best of Yan Can Cook.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we're gonna select some of the best recipe. So when people come to MY Asia in the Horseshoe Casino in Las Vegas, I would show you my journey, my culinary journey, and my story, and I hope everybody would be entertained with our good food as well as my story. And I welcome you and your fans. You know, I know Phil has a lot of fans, millions and millions of fans. And I invite all of you to come along with Phil to come to MY Asia.
That'd be phenomenal. So I just want to kind of go over the socials real quick. Follow Chef Martin Yan on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Yan Can Cook on YouTube as well. What is the team like behind the scenes for you? Because you cover so many types of media. What is that like? Because I can't imagine you're booking the plane tickets yourself and all that stuff.
Well, you know what? I was very fortunate, and you know that being the chef that have some exposure, a lot of young people want to work with you, right? So when I said I want to open, and also I know a lot of chefs around here, so I talked to all my chefs. I said, do me a favor, send me some of your best lieutenants. So we have assembled an unbelievably talented team. And some of them are trained in the French cooking, so they have that sense of mainstream approach to it. And then we also have a few chefs, almost half the chef, are classically trained. We have a young person that the Filipino American, and also we have Vietnamese American. So we have a lot of really wonderful people that in our kitchen team that have very diverse experience and diverse skills. And that's the reason why I decided to do MY Asia, because the restaurant on the strip is a little bit different than the restaurant outside the strip, because you have outside the strip in a typical restaurant, you have a lot of regular customer. You probably have the same customer year in and year out. But Las Vegas on the strip, you have people from all over the world, all over the place. I want to educate. I want to inspire the people. I want to let people know, hey, you know, cuisine of Asia is more than just chop suey and chow mein, and it's more than sweet and sour pork and egg roll. There's a lot more than that, and we try to use. I remember I show you the ingredient and a room and the stock room.
So much stuff,
and they're all traditional exotic ingredients.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a huge hit with conventions, WSOP, World Series of Poker. I just imagine that place. I mean, NY Asia is going to be packed for days and days.
Well, if it's not packed, I would ask Phil to help me out to bring more people in.
Okay.
I know Phil is very influential media person, and I respect your sharing your knowledge with so many people, and I have a lot to learn from you in terms of social media.
Okay, well, we'll definitely talk about that. Yeah, then maybe you can show me how to cut it, do the chicken then. This has been super surreal. It's been amazing to talk to you, and I just really appreciate you being on the show. And thank you for that.
Now, hopefully, this is not the last time.
No, I'm definitely going to San Francisco. I'm definitely hitting you up. We're definitely going to do that for sure. So check out yancancook.com for a bevy of amazing recipes. At Chef Martin Yan for all the socials. Thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
And see you next week.
Well, welcome to NY Asia.
Thanks for tuning in to the Las Vegasville podcast. For more information about me and where I've been dining recently, check out my IG and TikTok at Las Vegasville. Feel free to text or leave me a voicemail about anything you want, 702-551-4445. Stay tuned as a new episode of the show debuts every Monday morning.